Phugtal Monastery, nestled in remote Zanskar in Jammu and Kashmir's Ladakh region, situated at a height of 12,500 feet. This 2,500-year-old monastery, considered the most holy in the region, is accessible only through a narrow, treacherous trail. Nearly 100 monks live here, including some 4-year-olds. But after sundown, the entire region plunges into darkness. The only source of light, kerosene and solar lamps. But this is going to change. The Global Himalayan Expedition's 20-member team from 13 countries will travel to light up the Phugtal Monastery with solar power. The sun is by far the most valuable source of energy for all life on Earth. It is perhaps for this reason that this ball of fire is worshipped across cultures, including our own. The sun's radiant light and heat can also be harnessed as solar energy. The Ladakh region receives abundant sunlight due to its altitude, thin air, and lack of moisture.
Basically, Ladakh is a cold desert, the monsoon wind which comes from the plains, the Himalaya mountains which comes in between, it robs off its all moisture which it has. So once we reach Ladakh, which is on the leeward side of the Himalaya or the rain shadow side of the Himalaya, they are left with no moisture. So Ladakh is left high and dry.
Despite the abundance of sunlight, vegetation is scarce. The barren land with gravel and sand makes Ladakh uninhabitable. The only respite, melting glaciers.
Wherever you find a glacier, where you see a water trickling from the glacier, you find a habitation.
Despite the harsh conditions, tourists from around the world continue to flock to Ladakh every year. Like 30-year-old electrical engineer Paras Lumba, a visit 3 years ago when he was with a solar company changed his life.
The irony is, this resource solar is so much available in Ladakh and still there are villages which are not connected to the grid. So the idea was if we can actually set up microgrids which are simple to set it up and use solar as the power.
दोषी साहब, पहली बार आपके गांव में रोशनी हमारी टीम के हाथों. चलो, करें रोशनी.
Paras went on to establish the Global Himalayan Expedition, or GHE, along with his brother Varun in 2013. They first set up an education base that runs on solar energy.
Good morning. The idea actually came by the students. They were very impressed with the use of renewable energy to power the e-base, which is the education base that we run here. But it is the same students that go back to the villages and they don't have electricity. So for us, it was an eye-opener that for the villagers from where these students come in, if we can give them electricity there, it can transform them.
There are a little under 6 lakh villages in India, out of which over 1 lakh remain in the dark. According to the Ministry of Power, in the Himalayan region of Jammu and Kashmir, about 100 villages have been electrified with SPV microgrids by government organizations like Lareda and Creda, which are the renewable energy development agencies of Leh and Kargil. However, several villages are still waiting to be connected to a grid in the state and particularly in the remote regions of Ladakh. The global Himalayan expedition set out to identify these unelectrified villages. They've successfully lit up 10 remote villages in Ladakh, and their goal is to light up 20 more in the next 1 year.
We follow a full-fledged sustainability model for the operation of our microgrid. So the way it works is every household in the village which gets light from our microgrid contributes a monthly rental. And this money is collected into a joint account which is done by 2 villagers of the same village. And they put in the money for next 5 years, 6 years, and this money is used to maintain and upgrade the grid and also repair any components of the grid if it is required. It's good that we give light to a village, but what with the light? You can either work or you can sleep in light. So the idea is to use this light to create income generation. So we actually promote homestays in these villages, or we create homestays in these villages for trekkers and tourists to stay in these homes, use the light as a facility and pay the villagers some money.
20 people from 13 countries have contributed to lighting up the remote Phugtal Monastery in the Lungnak Valley in Zanskar. Over the next few weeks, they will travel to the Gompa to electrify it with solar microgrids.
They say the cave of the Phugtal Monastery is almost as old as 2,500 years old, and the monastery is as old as 700 years old. And in spite of so much of heritage to it, it still doesn't have a single light bulb. So the idea is to take these 20 people from 13 different countries this year, trek to this monastery and set up 7 solar microgrids and light that up in just exactly 2 days.
The team of 20, including 9 women from 13 countries, has arrived in Leh, the capital of Ladakh.
Good morning, Melinda.
Hi.
Good to see you. How was the flight?
Good.
How are you? Doing good, doing good. Good to see you all packed up. Welcome to Leh.
They are welcomed with a Kathak, the traditional Buddhist scarf, to the Mahabodhi Meditation Center by the head Lama. This will be their base for the next 2 days.
Welcome to Himalaya, more welcome to Mahabodhi. Hello.
We're going to follow a targ road for about 250 kilometers.
Leading the pack of changemakers is Rolf, an IT project manager from Denmark.
The fact that it's a monastery in itself is amazing. And then to see it lit up, I can't wait.
All right, come on guys. Keep your bags here and move for lunch. Ensure your bags are tagged. Is that bag tagged?
Looking after logistics of the expedition is Jaideep Bansal, a 28-year-old engineer from IIT Mumbai, who quit his job at a multinational to be part of the initiative.
Chalo, start.
When you are operating in the remotest regions of the world, operations plays a very important role, and we have to be very precise how much material we are carrying to these villages. Even one material shortage can lead to the grid not working. So when the team lands in Leh and we acclimatize them for 2 days, we ensure that all our bags are packed, we ensure each and every material is there, ready to be transported to the village, and after 2 days, we left for Kargil with all our material.
Journey from Leh to Kargil took us 7 hours, which was 250 kilometers. And it was so amazing journey. You have huge mountains around you and with different colors. And finally, in the evening, we reached Kargil. We stayed the night at Kargil, and it was the last night we got to sleep on beds in the entire expedition.
Right now we're just loosening up before the first part of the bus ride, which is going to be roughly 20-30 minutes.
When you do the trekking, the body opens up, gets into a better shape, and also creates a good team building among everyone. So I think it's the first adventure of our tri-adventure activity.
My name's Lee. I'm from Wales in the UK.
I had the summit to myself and decided I want to do something different, help somebody.
What makes a 17-year-old girl come from USA to this valley? What makes a doctor from South Africa come to this valley? They're all here just for one cause, to light up the Himalayas, to light up Phugtal.
From Kargil at 9,500 feet, it was uphill cycling for 40 kilometers. With the team finally making their way in vehicles to Rangdom at 13,000 feet. Passing through countless streams and valleys, inching closer to Phugtal.
Rangdom Valley, which is at the height of about 13,000 feet above sea level, and it was very freezing and chilling. But fortunately, we have got amazing tents in which we were able to sleep all night. The next step is Icha village, where roads end.
As the team takes the interior roads of the valley, where the harsh flow of the water has shifted the sand and gravel, forming large pits, making for an uncomfortable drive. But the scenery is a sight for sore eyes. On crossing the Penzila Pass at 14,000 feet.
On our way to Icha, we crossed Penzila Pass, which is at the height of around 14,000 feet. It was so windy and so chilling. You can see huge snow-capped mountains, glaciers on our way. There was snow at every place. And it was so freezing, we were not able to touch our tripods, metal equipment.
This is just unreal. So I remember sitting in the bus at one point and I just had like a couple of seconds of reflection of, wow, look where I am.
The team is close to the 23-kilometer long Drung Drung Glacier, which is the second longest glacier in India after Siachen. The glacier shows visible signs of global warming.
Just few years back, it used to be till this point, full of snow. And for the last few years, it has been receding and going back and again. So this is exactly a sign of climate change. The level of water of the rivers have gone down. It has impacted the agriculture in this area.
Throughout the way it was bumpy rides, all the rocky mountains and the glaciers, snow, water throughout the journey. And all the time I was thinking like hats off to people who managed to come so far and going to such remote places, because I don't think so a normal man will ever think of in this journey where it is not even guaranteed whether you will make it so far or not. But then, yeah, it is definitely worth it.
My name is Graham Jones. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm a specialist in pediatrics, which means I love children, I love helping sick children, and I've dedicated my life to that. So really when this opportunity with GHE, to work with GHE came about, it was really combining all of these interests that I have, where they're going to some of the most remotest places of the world, deep into the Himalaya, to the Ladakh province, and to people who've been really cut off from the mainstream world from a basic point of view, from an energy point of view, an electricity point of view.
10 local porters and 45 horses accompany the team on their final trek to Phugtal. This is a major source of livelihood for villagers who accompany tourists on treks.
Normal road today, so we're going to start out easy. But we're going to take first a path here, which I'm going to think everybody's going to be a little bit tired just from the beginning. But it's going to be a good start.
The 15-kilometer rocky trail to Cha is a dangerous one. The lack of oxygen and the scorching sun can be extremely dehydrating and draining. But a misstep can be fatal.
It was a dangerous trek because on one side you have the glacial river flowing, And even one small step, because the trek route is very narrow, even one small wrong step can lead you to falling into the river. But at the same time, it's very important to keep the entire team grouped together so that we are all walking at a normal pace and taking regular breaks.
Despite frequent breaks during the 9-hour trek, the team finally reach Cha village, greeted by local women carrying the native brew known as chang. Nestled in the Zanskar valley, Cha is at an altitude of 12,500 feet. The entire region is economically dependent on farming, which is seasonal, but the major source of livelihood is livestock. While summers are comfortable in Cha, winters are difficult, especially without electricity.
हमारा गांव में बिजली नहीं है सर, हमको बहुत प्रॉब्लम है सर, बच्चों को पढ़ाई करने के लिए नहीं है, फिर लड़कियों को रात को जो काम करता है वो नहीं हो सकता है, इसलिए बहुत मुश्किल है सर। बीमार होगा तो हमारा यहाँ लोकल एमसी है सर, इससे करता है, नहीं तो हम ज़्यादा सीरियस होगा तो हम पदुम में ले जाते हैं घोड़े पर सर, ये मुश्किल है सर हमारे लिए।